Hi everyone. I thought this would be easier if I just do some videos to save you time, reading all the slides and not retaining the information as much. We're going to be learning about some market research today. This is leading up to our next project, the Jen and Barry's ice cream creation for them. So, let's get into it. Market research is really important because even if you feel like you know your market, you may be marketing to the wrong kind of person or asking the wrong kinds of questions. And so we just want to find out exactly what people are interested in before they buy a product. So the first one is Gerber Baby was selling baby food in Africa, and this is what it looks like. There's a cute little baby on the front, and it says the flavor. But in Africa, they usually put the pictures of the ingredients on the bottle, and so all of a sudden their sales were super low because basically people didn't want to eat baby. And that is why the sales were low in Africa. So because they didn't do the research and they just used the same label, they lost out on a lot of money because basically they were saying there was mush baby in the jar. In Brazil, they were selling this Ford Pinto and didn't understand why the sales were so low. And then basically Pinto in Brazil is slang for tiny male. You know what I mean? So, Ford eventually changed its name to Corcel, which is horse, instead of tiny male parts instead. Because obviously you wouldn't want to be driving if someone was like, oh, what kind of car are you driving? You'd be like, well, I'm driving a you know what. And that would be silly. So they lost a lot of money there. Schweppes, which is like a popular tonic water in Italy that actually translate to toilet water. So they also were having a really hard time selling things because no one's going to want to buy toilet water to drink. Another time when you need to really research is if you're translating it into a different language. Obviously, you guys should know if you take in Spanish, sometimes words just don't translate correctly. So instead, these signs say, please don't be edible. And then the other one says exterior girdle food. Obviously, these are not correct. And then the next sign says slip and fall down carefully. So it's telling you to slip because it was a simple translation mistake, which is no good. So, how can you avoid making these mistakes? You can do some surveys, interviews, focus groups, observations, trial and sampling. So, what you're going to be doing for your ice cream project is you're going to be asking the people in your house, what kind of ice cream toppings do they like? What kind of ice cream flavors do they like? Do they like it in a cone or a bowl or a waffle cone or any of those things you're going to need to ask about your ice cream project? A big secondary research would just be Google it. Do people generally like a certain flavor? Maybe you could Google what's the most popular ice cream flavor? What's the least popular flavor? But I want you to make sure that you're asking the right questions. So if you were to say to me, because you want to sell dresses, if I like the color yellow, I might say that I like the color yellow. But then when I don't purchase it and you don't understand why I won't buy your yellow dress is because what you didn't ask me is if I would be interested in wearing a yellow dress, which is no, I would prefer wear a black dress. But you asked me if I like yellow, and I do, but you're not asking me the right question. So when you ask people about your ice cream projects, you can say, hey, do you like vanilla? And they could say yes, but what they really prefer is cookie dough. So maybe you would say, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? What are your favorite toppings? Because if you ask people if they like, certain kinds of candy bars, they'll almost always say yes, but they wouldn't necessarily want to eat that candy bar with their ice cream. So just be super mindful. I'm going to be uploading all the rest of the work for this project in the same slide, so just find it on Google Classroom and email me if you need help. Thanks.